Anne of Green Gables, a graphic novel, adapted by Mariah Marston, illustrated by Brenna Sumner. Around the green little town of Avonlea, there are plenty of people who pry into their neighbors' business while neglecting their own affairs. A talented few can juggle both at the same time. Rachel Lynde was skilled in this art and always kept a watchful eye on her own neighbors, Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert, a brother and sister who lives just down the road at a place called Green Gables. Mrs. Lynde could always tell when something was afoot. Huh? Here we go. Yoo-hoo! Your brother is headed to town on a weekday afternoon, Marilla? We're getting an orphan from an asylum up in Carmody to help with the farm. An orphan? You hear such stories, orphan boys setting fires to barns, sucking on eggs. Yes, Rachel, but at least boys don't poison whole families. What about the orphan girl who dropped straight line down the family's well? Well, we're not getting a girl. What a glorious disaster it will be. I pity that orphan boy. That's certain. She's waiting for you there. She? I'm not expecting a girl. Mrs. Spencer is spending as a boy. Well, I haven't got any more orphans stashed away. Mr. Matthew Cuthbert? Of Green Gables? I'm glad to see you. I just decided I would sleep in that exquisite cherry tree if you didn't come. This is the bloomest place. Now I must shut my eyes as we cross this bridge, or I will imagine the whole thing falling into the river. Phew, my imagination has a life of its own, but I do wish I could imagine away this red hair. I can do that with my freckles and scrawniness and rotten green eyes, even my boring old name Anne, but not this hair. This is my lifelong sorrow. Would you rather be divinely beautiful, dazzlingly clever, or angelically good? I can never decide. Am I talking so much? I can't stop. You can talk all you like. Oh. I'll have to call that road the White Way of Delight, and that the Lake of Shining Waters. I could sigh with rapture. I'm nearly home. Where's that boy? There wasn't any boy, only her, and I couldn't just leave her there, mistake or no. I should have known. Nobody ever did want me. Hush now, child. We're not going to send you off into the night. What's your name? Could you please call me Cordelia? What do you mean, call you? Or, well, it's really Anne Shirley, but if you must call me that, please spell Anne with an E. Eat. I'm afraid I'm stuck in the depths of despair. The utter depths. She's going back to Mrs. Spencer tomorrow. I don't know. She's an interesting little thing with all her talk. Her talk? It drives me to distraction. You're not suggesting that we keep her? I suppose not exactly. She's bewitched you. What good could she do us? Well, now, we could do some good for her, and she'd be company for you. I'm certainly not suffering for company. I'll miss you dearly, Snow Queen. Aren't you headed outdoors? I don't dare go out. It would break my heart to make friends with those deadly roses and that silver smooth brook, only to bid them farewell forever. They are now bonny. Where's the sense in naming geranium? Well, you wouldn't want to be called woman all the time, would you? I've never in all my life seen or heard anything quite like her. And after my parents' side, I never stayed in one place long. I took care of Hammond twins for 2 years, 3 sets of them. I can handle babies in moderation, but 6 was a bit excessive. And terribly exhausting. Then the Hammonds left for the States, and no one would take me, so I had to go to the asylum with the other orphans. Oh, I'm so sorry for the mistake. But Mrs. Blewett here was just asking for a little girl to help her. Mrs. Blewett? Let's look at her. Awful, scrainy, but that just means she won't need much food. She's a quiet thing, isn't she? I'll take her. I hope she lasts longer than the last girl. Let's not be hasty. Matthew and I will discuss our options and send her back tomorrow if we decided not to keep her. Did you really just say? I said nothing. I'd rather go back to the asylum than live with her. She's look exactly like a sour apple, all red and pinched. Be good, Anne. Say your prayers now and go to bed. Oh, I never say my prayers. Mrs. Hammond said that God made my hair red on purpose, and it's hard to forgive that. But I'd do anything to make you happy. Gracious Heavenly Father, I thank Thee for the white way of delight, for Bonnie, for the Snow Queen, and that's all the blessing I can think of right now to thank Thee for. As for the thing I want, it would take too long to name them all, so I will only mention the very important 2. Please let me stay at the Green Gables, and please let me be good looking when I grow up. Sincerely, Aunt Shirley. Yawn. I'm nearly mad with anticipation. What's my fate? Well, we've decided to keep you so long as you act like a good, hard-working girl. Oh, Aunt Marilla. Here now, I'm not your aunt, and I don't believe in calling people things they aren't, but we could imagine what we are. I really couldn't. All right, I shall call you Marilla, though it doesn't sound as sweet.